Hello, and welcome back to Data Hub Solutions. I'm Douglas, and today we're diving into another essential tutorial for users of Value Pro 360, particularly those in the real estate sector using FlexMLS. In this video, we're focusing on a crucial step in your real estate analysis process: setting up the export template in FlexMLS. This is key to ensuring that when you export data from the MLS, it aligns perfectly with the Value Pro 360 MLS data worksheet, the first and fundamental worksheet in Value Pro 360. Understanding how to correctly export your data is pivotal. Not only does it streamline your workflow, but it also ensures the data you analyze is accurate. We'll walk through the process step by step, from identifying the essential fields in FlexMLS to aligning them with the column labels on the MLS data worksheet in Value Pro 360. Our goal today is to illustrate the data export process and make your experience with Value Pro 360 as seamless as possible. By the end of this tutorial, you will be equipped with the knowledge to customize your export template effectively and to ensure that the transition of data from FlexMLS to Value Pro 360 is smooth and error-free. Additionally, I want to highlight that this video is part of a broader tutorial series designed to enhance your experience with Value Pro 360 across various MLS systems. In upcoming videos, we'll be covering how to set up export templates specifically for the CRMLS matrix and the Paragon MLS systems. These tutorials are intended to cater to a wide range of real estate professionals, ensuring that regardless of the MLS system you use, you will have the guidance needed to integrate your exported data with Value Pro 360. Stay tuned and subscribe to our channel to ensure you don't miss out on these valuable insights that will further streamline your data analysis process and elevate your market valuations. Whether you're new to Value Pro 360 or looking to refine your existing skills, this video will provide you with the insights to enhance your real estate analytical capabilities. Let's get started and unlock the full potential of your real estate data with Value Pro 360. All right, let's get started. We're going to open up the Value Pro 360 original workbook. Anytime the Value Pro 360 original workbook opens, it's always going to open up to the very first sheet, which is the MLS data worksheet. This is where the information from the MLS gets pasted into. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to cover the FlexMLS. As you can see, every column has a label in row 1. This is the data that we're looking for out of the MLS. This is what we're going to be exporting in this order. So let's go ahead and get started over here in the MLS. First thing we're going to do is we got to go to the menu. We got to go to My Exports. It's under Menu, My Exports. These are my export templates that I typically work with. It's usually the regression template. These are just templates that I've made up over the years. Today, we're going to start a new template. We're going to call this template the Value Pro 360 template. We're going to keep the detail group name shown in the front of the detail name, and we're going to work with the residential properties. So we're going to go ahead and start. The available fields are here. That's what we want to put in the template layout. In the FlexMLS, you're going to find that there's not an available field for the MLS number. Going back over to our actual Value Pro 360, this MLS number, this is an important row. Whether you use the MLS number or you use 1, 2, 3 or A, B, C, D, E, there needs to be data in this column because the data analysis page looks at this column to find out the amount of rows of data that we're going to be moving over into the data analysis page. And every other one of the worksheets works as a reference to the data analysis page. All this comes apparent in the instructional video that's on my Value Pro 360 Academy. So let's go back. In the FlexMLS, they don't have, like I said, an MLS number available field because it automatically gets exported as the very first row in your template. So what we need to do is be looking for our status, address, city, state, list price, sell price, all the way down to ADU. So let's go back to our MLS fields here. The first one up we're going to be looking for is status. So we're going to scroll down to status. their status. We're going to add that field. Next is street number. And after that is street name. Some MLSs combine these two. The FlexMLS happens to have them separated. Next is the state and province. And then after that, we're looking for list price. And then we're looking for sold price. And then after sold price comes under contract date. And then under contract date will be sold date. And then seller's concessions. I happen to know that seller's concessions is way down at the bottom here. Seller concessions, we're looking for amount, not description or anything. We're looking for amount. Then after that comes the days on market. So let's get the days on market in there. After days on market is your lot, dims, or acreage. So we scroll down to lot, dims, or acreage. And then we also are including approximate acreage. Not all agents put everything under every field. So sometimes you have to pull 2 or more fields to get the appropriate data that you need. We're going to scroll down and just make sure everything's getting put in. So after that comes year built. So we scroll down to year built. And after year built is approximate square footage. This is the approximate square footage of the dwelling itself. Let's just make sure everything's getting put in. After that comes total beds, baths, and half bathrooms. So we'll scroll down to total bedrooms. Total full baths, not total baths, because that tends to add the full baths and the half baths together. So we go full baths and we go half baths. Next after that is parking for garages. So we're going to scroll down to parking. And we're going to see that we need attached garage and detached garage. I deal in carports, so some of my templates are set up to export carports. It's up to you whether you want to deal with carports. You typically with garages are a 1-car, 2-car, 3-car garage, 4-car, or 0 for no garage. If you're dealing in carports, you have to come up. I usually will be like a 0.5 for a 1-car port, and maybe a 1.5 or something for a 2-car port. But most of the time I'm dealing in garages. I end up deleting most of those most of the time. So after garages, we're going to be dealing with swimming pools. Swimming pools, there's an in-ground for a yes or a no, but I also export gunite, and I also export fiberglass, and I export vinyl. If you're dealing with the vinyl pools, you're going to want to look at your listings, because in the FlexMLS, there's nothing for an above ground pool. And most agents tend to put above ground pools under vinyl pools. After swimming pools is solar. So we got to scroll down to solar. And in this instant, we're going to be doing solar owned. And then I also do solar. And I don't know if it's solar 1, 2, or 3. We're going to go with 3 in this instance. So we got solar owned and solar. And then after that, I live in a rural area, so I deal with a lot of shops and barns. So I'm going to go up here to miscellaneous amenities, and we're going to put in shop. And then I'm going to go to ranch and farm amenities, and we're going to put in barns. And then the last thing that I deal with is ADUs, accessory dwelling units. Now, some agents tend, even though we have an ADU spot now in the FlexMLS, some are still putting them under guest house. So I look at guest house, and then I go to additional rooms. Why they put this under additional rooms, I have no idea. But there's an ADU spot under additional rooms. So go back and review, make sure we got status, street number and name, state, list and sold price, contract date, sold date, seller's concessions, days on market, lot dims and acreage and approximate acreage, year built, square footage of the house, total beds, total full baths, total half baths, attached and detached garages, our 4 swimming pools, our 2 solars, our shops, our barns, and our guest and ADU. So at that point, we just save it. And we now have the Value Pro 360 template. So let's go ahead and we'll do a search so we can export some data. We're going to look at closed sales. We're going to look at single family homes. Now I'm going to search in a neighborhood over here It's the Mary Lake subdivision. Let's just suppose we're appraising a 1,600 square foot house in this subdivision. So let's go ahead and we'll look at everything from 1,400 to 1,800 square foot. That's what we got. Now, that's not enough sales, but I know I'm familiar with this neighborhood. I've obviously been appraising in here. I've been doing it for 20 years. I know that a prospective purchaser is going to consider across the street, over here, and over here. Now, I'm not going to include these sales because these houses were built in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. Most everything I'm looking here, late 70s to early 2000s. So a prospective purchaser is going to consider any of the houses in here that's an equivalent home. So we're going to go ahead and pull just these sales here. We end up with 51 sold houses here. Now, when I'm looking at my houses, I like to look at prices, not descending from greatest to lowest, but I typically look from ascending from lowest to highest. I'll select all my sales. Now, if you watch my instructional video, you're going to know that my program, the Value Pro 360, is set up to handle outliers. I'm just looking at sale prices here going, okay, I know this is going to be an outlier. Look at it's a $50,000 difference between the next lowest number. So I'm going to get rid of that. And then I'm going to scroll on down. I'm going to look 480, 460, 460, 460. I know 535 is an outlier, so I'm going to get rid of that too. So I end up with 49 sales that I'm going to export. And in the FlexMLS, we go over to the three little dots on the right, and we click that, and we're going to export it. We're going to export our 49 selected sales. We're not going to use their template. We're going to use our custom template, the Value Pro 360 template. So custom template, we're going to go ahead and export it. Comes up top. It comes out as a CSV file. A CSV file is a comma separated value file. So it's a comma. If you were to look at this in Microsoft Notebook, it would just come out with like everything would just be a line with the data and there'd be a comma between each one. Mine opens up in Excel right where I like it. First thing I'm going to do is I like to go in and organize my data. I'm going to the data to my down arrow and I'm organizing the sold price from smallest to largest. That way, if I have to go back over and look at my sales in here, everything is from lowest to highest. So let's get back over here. Now, other things I like to do, this is my list price column, so I want to look at everything being in a currency format. Same with my sold price. I'll spread my dates out so they'll show the actual dates. Seller concessions, I'll look at those in currency as well. Go back. I don't want any decimal places there. Days on market, don't really have to do anything with. You can see a 1, 2. These were probably sold prior to being put on the MLS and the agent put them on just so they can be used as comps. Next up, okay, so this is where we export both of our lot dimensions and acreage and approximate acreage. The Value Pro 360 program only deals in acreage. I give you the equivalent of the site size and square footage for charts. You'll see that in the instructional video. Right now, under site size, one column, we're only going to deal in acreage. But not all data shows up from the agents as acreage. So we have to go over here and manually fill this in. So you'll have to go in here. You'll have to get your calculator out, divide it by 43,560, which is your acreage equivalent to square footage. Now look, you can see this agent didn't put anything. So you're going to have to log on public records, RealQuest, Realist, TitleFlex, whatever you use, and you're going to have to look up the acreage. In this instance, I'm just putting in an acreage because I don't want to take the time to go look it up. This is 0.22. So now you can see over here, the agent didn't even put in the year built. So you're going to have to go on public records and look that up too. In this instance, we're just going to fill it in with an acreage, a year built. Now you can see all our acreages there. So everything's filled out. I'll turn that into a number as well. So everything's 2 decimal places. So now I can get rid of this column here because I don't need it. Now, before I go scrub any more data, I can tell with these big acreage things, I'm not going to be dealing with 2-3 acre parcels. So I'm going to go delete that data, shift the cells up so everything's gone. There was a couple more in here. Here's another one at 1.21 acres. I'm on a 1/4 acre lot, so I'm not going to be looking at stuff with big acreage. So I'm going to go ahead and delete those out of my deal. Again, they would just become outliers later on, so I don't want to deal with outliers. So I'm going to move all those from my data set. Shift everything up. All right, so after that, your built's fine. Now we got approximate square footage. I'm going to go ahead and change that into a number and add in a comma to separate it. So when I look at it, I know that that is all acreage or square footage for the house. Now beds, baths, and half baths, they're pretty much filled out most of the time. So we don't really worry about that too much with the FlexMLS. Parking, you can see the agent had put in anything for parking. We've got attached garages and we've got detached garages. He put in nothing. So at that point, you're going to have to go over to your MLS and look at the actual cell. I know that Court Street here does not have a garage. So going back over, we're going to fill in a 0 right there. Then here it's a 2-car detached garage. I know that's a 2. In this instance, he's put a 1 as a detached garage. I'm going to just show you this. We're going to go back over the MLS. This is Jasper. So we're going to scroll down here to Jasper. And you can see, looking at it, it's a 2-car garage. And I know in this subdivision, there's no 1-car garages. So the fact is, a 1 throws me off right there. But then he even puts it as detached. It's obviously an attached garage. So we have to go back over and we have to change that to a 2. I know the rest of these are 2-car garages. I'm not going to bother showing you. There are some 3-car garages, as you can see right there. We're going to call these all 2. So once we get that up, we get rid of the other column. Because again, back into the program of Value Pro 360, there's, whoops, wrong screen. Value Pro 360, you're going to see that there's only room for 1 garage. So when we're working over here on our data set, we only need 1 column for garages. Similarity in pools too. So we exported in-ground pools, gunite pools, fiberglass pools, and vinyl pools. Most of the time on the FlexMLS, a good agent's going to put in a yes for if there's a swimming pool, whether it's a gunite, a fiberglass, or a vinyl. The only thing I can tell you about the vinyl pools is you might want to look at that listing. I know for a fact this one's an in-ground liner pool, but the FlexMLS doesn't have an above ground pool choice. So a lot of agents will put above ground pools under the vinyl pools. So at this point, we just fill in the rest of the blank columns with no's. So you could put a no. Once you type it in, it just comes up if you push in. You could double click and fill it down, or you can drag it down to your area. Just everything either needs to be a yes or a no. Once you watch the instructional video, you'll know why. Because we're group clustering the yeses and nos to find out the average sale price difference between a house with a pool and without a pool. So after we get that column filled in, we can get rid of everything to do with swimming pools. Now you can see with the solars, in this particular field under solar, it'll show you a yes and a no for solar. I bring in the own column because sometimes they don't fill this out correctly. So I'll go through and just make sure that it's verified. So I could see in the column, yes, those 2 match up. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that column. Now shops, we have 2 shops down there. The rest don't. So we'll go ahead and fill in the no's with shops. And again down here with no's with shops. Or drag it down. Now, there are no barns at all, so you can just type in a no here, double click it, and it'll fill it down with no's. We have 1 ADU, so the rest of them are no's. We fill it down. So there, our data is all scrubbed up. Everything is in the order that we need it in to match what is in here. MLS numbers. We'll go ahead and shrink this down and shrink this down and come in here so you can see MLS number, status, address, city, state. Now you're going to see we don't have a city exported from the MLS because I have 2 addresses here, but only 1 address column. So the number's going to fill in address and the street name's going to fill in the city. I know I'm in Reading, so I don't really need to be concerned about that too much. So let's go ahead and we'll copy this data and put it over into the Value Pro 360 worksheet. So you can go ahead and scroll down and pick the data like this. Or you can pick this number and go to the top. Now, you don't want the column labels on your MLS data in there. So don't be picking those. You're only going to be picking up to row 2. And so we right click and copy. We go back over. We go into cell A2 and we paste that data. Now all of our data is pasted in where it's supposed to go. MLS number, status number, addresses, state. This here from status to state, you don't really have to worry about that. It's just from list price over. You got to make sure that the appropriate data is under everything. So just as a review, we'll go back and look. This is our MLS. Now what I like to do after I import it is I will save that into a file, whatever my file is. In this case, we'll just save it to the desktop. And I will call that my MLS data. And I like to save it as an Excel workbook and just save. Then we can exit that. So that's it. That is pretty much what we got. So after this video, you can go watch the instructional video. It'll pick up from here, re-importing it in and show you how to run the rest of these pages. So for Data Hub Solution, I'm Douglas, and please subscribe, like, and share.